it's Adam Webster from 98.9 Nash Icon. We are extremely proud to be the official radio home of the Woo Sox. And right now, I have the team president, Dr. Charles Steinberg, president of the Woo Sox, joining us right here on Zoom and on 98.9 Nash Icon. Good morning, Dr. Steinberg.
Well, good morning. I'm happy to be with you.
We are happy to have you, and we're happy to have the Woo Sox coming in April. And boy, oh boy, are things coming together. They just laid the sod down, a couple of weeks ago? So we have grass on the infield now.
There's so much going on. These are such exciting times. And, they're exciting times for everyone in central Massachusetts, right in the heart in Worcester, but all throughout the towns that surround. And it's a remarkable time because you're watching this vacant area, this brownfield next to a really cool area, the Canal District, and you're watching it transform. And you saw the steel rise, and you saw the steel be completed, and the light towers went up, and two of them are shaped like hearts. And now the grass is laid, and the brownfield is a green field.
I love it. I go out of my way because typically I would go through Kelly Square and get right on 290. But, I'm going to go out of my way to go down Chandler Street as much as possible to watch the progress on the construction. And boy, oh boy, if that didn't come together fast.
Well, yeah, we say Polar Park is rising before your eyes, and it's remarkable that in these times, this year that's been unlike any other. It's been, to me, a source of solace, a little bit of peace, that at least baseball is moving along, and we're building a new home for everybody in central Massachusetts to come together. And yeah, to watch it transform as you ride along Madison Street, as you go to Kelly Square, it's, to me, a sign that through it all, we can all come together and make progress.
Absolutely. I mean, you're a transplant to the area from Baltimore originally, and you got to intern for your hometown Baltimore Orioles to get your start 45 years ago. I'm a transplant from Long Island. I've been in Worcester now for 20 years, so I still have some Mets stuff here in my office, the one house that my wife lets me hang stuff up in. But my Mets, the Red Sox, didn't have a great season, but how great was it to have Major League Baseball?
Well, the finish was great. The Los Angeles Dodgers and the Tampa Bay Rays put on a really thrilling series. And I think for many of us who wondered, what kind of season is this really going to be like? I think we'll judge it not by how it started, but more by how it ended. And gosh, for Mets fans, it's a new day. You've got a new beginning. You've got somebody who's thoroughly committed and who's seems to have the wherewithal to fund being a real competitor, not just in the National League East, but a competitor to the Yankees for the top billing in New York. And for me, growing up in Baltimore, the Mets were quite a team because my Orioles won 109 games and lost 53 in 1969. Surely we would win the World Series. We swept the ALCS, and then we go up against the Mets, and the Amazons did a number on us. The joy that baseball brings in conversations that unite people who don't even know each other, I find fascinating. And it's been one of the rewarding things about Worcester, because it's a really good baseball community. People know their baseball, not just their Red Sox baseball, but they know their Worcester baseball history. And again, it's Worcester, but Central Mass is home to Connie Mack, and it's the home of the first perfect game, and the pioneering umpiring. There's so much, and we want to depict all that at Polar Park, so that it's not just a venue for 70 ball games, but it's a place you can come to day in, day out, year round, and say, wow, it's like when we were transforming Fenway Park, we called it a living museum. Well, we want to start Polar Park off that way. One of the ideas that we have for Polar Park, and there are a lot of ideas that make it, and there are a lot of ideas that don't, but one we're looking forward to. Imagine an autograph wall where every player who plays for the Woo Sox signs this wall. where every visitor who plays against the Woo Sox signs a wall, or maybe an index card that you put on the wall. So imagine if you have this history of AAA ball players on their way to the majors, on their way to the Hall of Fame, and here is their signature, and here is the date that they signed it before they became who you knew as a baseball star.
I absolutely love that. I mean, we were just talking about the World Series. Look at Mookie Betts winning the World Series this year. He played a lot of games in Pawtucket on his way up. The 2014, the 017 team, the 11 team, the 13 team, all of those teams had so many players that came up through Pawtucket and played baseball there. And like you said, the visiting players that come through as well.
Yes. You know, we have in Pawtucket, the late longtime owner of the team, Ben Mondor, was fabulous at curating. He made sure that pictures were here. And so, you know, here I am, born and raised in Baltimore, and I worked for the Orioles for 19 years. And the Orioles were great back then, the days of Cal Ripken and Eddie Murray. Well, I'm walking down the hall, and there's Eddie Murray, and there's Cal Ripken, and they're playing for the Rochester Red Wings, who back then were the Orioles affiliate. And of course, Cal played in the longest game in professional history, third baseman. And so, I remember just a few years ago, we're in Pawtucket and we're playing what I call the Yankees, but their name is the Scranton Wilkes-Barre,
Whatever.
Yeah, it just doesn't matter. They're the Yankees. Yeah. And here is this mammoth guy coming up to bat. And just because you're huge doesn't mean you're going to be good. But I thought, wow, I think I'm going to remember his name. Well, that's Aaron Judge. Well, Aaron Judge went on to become Aaron Judge. And so it is very fun in AAA to be your own scout and to say, ooh, look how this guy throws. Ooh, look how this guy runs. I'm going to watch him. And just think about that. In recent years in AAA, you got to watch Mookie Betts go from a second baseman in AA to an outfielder in AAA. You got to watch Xander Bogaerts. You got to watch just a host of stars. You know, you saw John Lester, you saw Dustin Pedroia. Plus, they're the rehab assignments. So, you know, there's a story that not everyone remembers, even though they know the story. Everyone remembers the story of April 20th, 2013, when David Ortiz made his unifying, you know, spine-tingling speech. What not everyone remembers was that April 20th, 2013, when David Ortiz stood on that field, he had not yet played for the Boston Red Sox that year. That was going to be his first day, his first game with the Boston Red Sox that year. The previous August, he had gotten injured and was rehabbing all winter long and even into the beginning of the season. So David Ortiz was playing AAA from opening day right through, I guess, April 19th. I'm not sure if he played on Friday the 19th or not. But Saturday, April 20th, when he stood there and made his speech, he had not had one at bat yet in the majors. So even David Ortiz was doing a visit to AAA. So you really have an opportunity at very affordable prices to just enjoy enjoy baseball as Americana. And one of the things I've loved about Worcester specifically and the surrounding towns, there is so much Americana. My beautiful girlfriend Liz and I went on recent Saturday to Old Sturbridge Village.
Sure.
And you're just taken back in time. And, you know, we'll drive through Sutton and we'll drive through Northbridge and we'll drive through all of these towns that are just chugging along. And there's a beautiful Little League diamond in Millbury that you see from 146. And it unfailingly catches my eye. And I'm thrilled when I would see, even in October, kids playing baseball. You know, let's get used to playing baseball in October if you grow up in Massachusetts. So I just think that there's such a love of baseball, such a intergenerational connection. And, I think that the Red Sox are certainly a key reason. And we're thrilled, of course, to be the AAA affiliate of the Boston Red Sox.
Well, we are very happy to have the Woo Sox, and April is the scheduled first pitch. Of course, we have to see what happens, and we're hoping to be out there on opening day. And we are extremely happy here on 98.9 Nash Icon to be the broadcasting partner and to be airing the radio games here on the air.
Well, we are so thrilled to be on with you. I will tell you that the country music, the iconic stars of Nashville, that's where Nash Icon comes, right? The iconic stars of Nashville provide a great baseball soundtrack. And there are a lot of good baseball fans from the world of country music. And wouldn't it be cool if, say, when they're coming through town, say they're going to perform at Indian Ranch in Webster, well, maybe they come out to a Woo Sox game and maybe sing the anthem, or at least throw a first pitch, or maybe just be recognized. So the icons of Nashville we're going to roll out the red carpet. And I think that the partnership with Nash Icon holds a lot of possibilities for us that way. So also, a lot of our players are country music fans.
Yes.
And I could sure see them wanting to call in and say hi, and they might like tickets to a show that comes after a ball game. But I'm sure we've got some Thomas Rhett fans out there, and you name it, go right on down the line. Country music has so many contributions to baseball's soundtrack, going back to Alabama singing Cheap Seats, a song that very, very much applies to the Woo Sox. We may not be major league, but at least we're AAA. It's great. So we really look forward to the musical partnership, because music has been so much a part of what we've done at the Boston Red Sox, at the Pawtucket Red Sox, and now the Worcester Red Sox. And we really treasure being in a partnership with a music station, and one with the icons of Nashville. Couldn't be better.
Well, we had the official team naming, and then we found out we were officially the Woo Sox. We started to get merchandise, and I love the way things are rolling out, right? Then the naming of Polar Park, I'm forgetting the order, and then, of course, we had the ballpark going up, and we had the mascot unveiled, and now we have sod on the field. What are some of the things we can look forward to in the weeks and months to come?
Well, there's going to be, at some point, the installation of a left field foul pole. And maybe you have not an icon of Nashville, but an icon of Boston, perhaps, who would be there to dedicate that left field foul pole. Then you have a right field foul pole. Well, maybe you have another Red Sox icon to be there to dedicate the right field foul pole. Now, honestly, as your mind starts to think about who those guys are, and my mind does, we haven't actually talked to the guys about it yet. So these are ideas, because I don't know the date, but you could sure picture that. You can picture that when we have the displays of Worcester baseball history as dioramas. Well, there should be a ribbon cutting for that. I don't know that you have to do all that opening day. We could do that sequentially on the way.
I love it.
So there are many more things, and it's really just up to your imagination. I think the most important quality I've brought to my 45 years is not growing up. I think that I've stayed 10 years old. And that 10-year-old whose heart was broken when your New York Mets beat us in the World Series, but that's all right. We won the 1970 World Series. Still finds the joy in the laying of the sod, the joy in the installation of the video boards, the auxiliary scoreboards. What kind of scoreboard will be on the Worcester wall? Will it be manual? No, it'll be electronic, but it'll still be old school. It'll be like an electronic version of Fenway's board. So there are so many touches, but to a 10-year-old, they're not touches, they're big deals. And that's what we try to recognize, try to stay true to, is there's so much joy, so much happiness that comes from baseball, and so much that comes from music. And that's why Nash Icon is so important to us, because that blend of a soundtrack with baseball has been what has enhanced its emotional grip, its grasp on our society for 100 years.
Well, like you, I'm a 10-year-old in a 46-year-old body. Call it Peter Pan syndrome, whatever you want to call it.
Love it.
I was there in a parking lot when Richie Gedman was having a catch with Oil Can Boyd, and you were there, and there was just a few people looking around, and you envisioned, and you and Larry Lucchino say, no, there's going to be a ballpark here. And we're looking around saying, all right, I trust you guys. You've done this before. And now look what you've built. I can't wait to be their opening day in April.
Well, thank you. And the date that you're referring to is August 5th of 2019, when we planted the plate and laid the bases.
Yes.
And we had little children there.
Yes.
Some were from, one was from Auburn, one was from Thompson, Connecticut. A bunch had come down from Leominster. Now, and my thought was, I think the littlest ones were maybe 4 and 5 years old. And my hope was that 75 years from now, on the what would that be, the diamond anniversary, something like that, for Polar Park, that a 79 and 80-year-old ladies come out to the field, and you look at the video or whatever you have by then, and say, look, here you were when you were 4 years old, you were 5 years old, and you were touching the plate. And that was Rich Gedman. Maybe he's starting to get up in years, 75 years from now. But and he was from Worcester. He grew up. So the idea of thrilling children is part of the thrill, but it's also to hope that, God willing, years from now, 50 years from now, 75 years from now, these little children can say, yeah, I was there the day that they planted the plate. And part of that comes from our long and thrilling time with the Boston Red Sox, because the history is so vivid. I would have loved for Cy Young to still be around. And I found old films of from the 1950s of the Red Sox, when Cy Young, as an older gentleman, was there. I'm like, wow. Like you think of him as 1901, you don't think of him in the 1950s being there. And so you think about intergenerational continuity, but you think about, we had in 2012, the 100th anniversary of Fenway, we found fans who were 100 years old, so that they symbolized that they were born in 1912 and Fenway was born in 1912. So that's why when you have the children, it's not only to thrill them or to thrill their parents, both of which we love, but it's also to hope that, God willing, so far away in the future, I'll be long gone, but imagine this 79-year-old lady comes out and says, yep, that was me at age 4 on August 5th, 2019, with Oil Can Boyd and Rich Gedman touching home plate. Like, how cool would that be? So you want to have a long lens as you do these events and plan the future.
And you guys do. And that's why we're so excited to have it here in Worcester with the Woo Sox starting this April, right here on 98.9 Nash Icon. Season tickets are already available. Single game tickets, if not available now, are going to be available any day now. So we are very, very excited.
It's full seasons now, and these are the last days of full seasons. Probably because we're going to cap the number at 2,000 to make sure we protect everybody else, and we're getting close. So my guess is there's probably about 2 weeks left to get full season tickets, and then we'll take it from there. But also, we're going to be introducing you to the broadcasters who will be doing the play-by-play, and Josh Mauer and Mike Antonellis and Jim Kane. They're great guys, and they've been around a while. Some are from this area, and those are voices that will add to the mellifluous variety of voices on Nash Icon. But I was thrilled. I was really thrilled when we could make an agreement with Cumulus to be on Nash Icon, and I listened to it. And my girlfriend Liz, who's been wonderful, is way into country music and has brought me even more from my Beatle background.
Sure.
But they blend together fine. And so we look forward to baseball and the icons of Nashville blending together. And I think it could really, really make Worcester and Central Mass an even better place to live.
I love it. Dr. Charles Steinberg, thank you so much for this. As we get closer to opening day, maybe we'll do another one of these. Hopefully we'll be in a situation where we can, even with masks on, whatever, do it in person. But whatever it is, we'll have plenty more to talk about as we get closer to April.
We look forward to it anytime.